No GPS, no rules, no shame. Just a funky little quad in a soul train frame. Below, we fly that flow. Below, spread that gap. No time to nap. No time to nap. Hit that roll. Funk and control. Funk and control. Bounce that wall. Bounce that all. We fly it all. Funk it all. We fly it all. And free, we fly indoors, we fly with glee. Whoop it, loop it, groove it, move it, bounce it, flip it, funk it, rip it, fly that soul, don't lose control. Tiny whoop love gonna make you whole. I thread the needle through the vinyl stacks, bounce off the mirror ball, never looking back. My quad's got soul, it's got style, it's got sass. It dips through the incense like a blast from the past. I'm flying figure eights through the lava lamp glow, dodging house plants like a funky pro. My whoops got rhythm, my sticks got heat. I'm the pilot of the party with the grooviest beat. I loop through the hallway, I dive by the broom. I'm the disco ghost in your living room. I hit that split, it's over grandma's chair. She just claps and says, boy, you got flair. I'm flying freestyle with a velvet touch. My quad so smooth it don't need a clutch. From the shag rug to the ceiling fan, I'm the funky little fly with a master plan. The curtains dancing on the breeze, freestyle funk in my living room with ease. Tiny whoop magic bumping every wall. I'm the James Brown of flight, can't stop at all.
Greetings, cretins! My name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. And the voice of God is back. It's Kevin Sumner.
Hello.
Kevin, talk again. I forgot to set your levels real quick. I think you're fine now.
Hello.
Yeah, we're good. All right, cool. My name's Aaron Ciotti. Head on over to CiottiFPV.com if you like this and would like to support it. Totally crowdfunded. You guys pay the bills, so I tell you what's good and what sucks. There's not a company that's going to send me a whole bunch of stuff that's going to like make me softball their stuff. There we go. It's out of the way. Tonight, we are going to take a look at more BnFs that don't suck. I adjusted something, and now everything is a little bit off. Hold on. Let me just fix this real quick. Like that should be better. Okay, cool. Better. And then we're actually going to fly. Yesterday was a 6 battery stream, and then we just got all crazy with BnFs the entire stream, and I kind of forgot to fly. So I'll make up for that today. I got a bunch of batteries charged. We will rip around the room a little bit, and yeah, have a good time. Cool. The intro video was the Air65 Champion Edition, rather. Air65 Champion Edition with the Lava V2 280s? Yeah, 280s. Super lightweight, and then this has the 0702 30,000 kV motors, so it makes gobs of power. Almost too much. At the bottom of a lot of those drops, I was bouncing up because there was just so much power there. And what we might do today in the course of flying 6-ish batteries is switch between biblades and the new GemFan 1207 Triblades on a different build. We did this a couple days ago on the Ultimate Freestyle Tiny Whoop that's on HQ 1.2 by 0.9 by 3 propellers. and for some reason, it was not happy on the GemFan 1207s. They did not seem to... I don't know. I've been told by a bunch of people that I trust that they are well-balanced. They didn't seem to be all that well-balanced on this setup. So we'll try them again, but we'll compare them to biblades this time, and we'll see. And I'm just going to keep trying. I'm just going to keep trying these 1207s on different builds to kind of figure them out and see what's going on with them. They seem pretty good. The main weakness is it's when you take them off of the motors, it's really easy to bend the blades out of shape. Very similar to the Nubidrone Azzies. But when they're on there, they seem fine, unlike the Nubidrone Azzies. The Azzies, like, you put them on, and if you don't bend the blades up when you're putting them on, they're great until you start to crash, and then the blades get all banged up and they get out of balance. And now that I'm saying this, maybe that's what happened. Maybe when I was putting these on to the motors, when I was pushing them on, I bent some of the blades up, and that's why they were kind of out of balance. So I'll be more careful tonight putting them onto this thing to make absolutely certain that I don't bend any of the blades while I'm installing them. That being said, any propeller that I have to be that careful of when I'm putting them onto a motor, similar to the Azzies, I'm just not going to use them. So I don't know, man. Not off to a great start with these 1207s, but they seem to make good power, and they're super lightweight. So I'll keep trying. I'll keep trying to figure it out. In the chat, Kevin Sumner was first. Nyafu is next. FizzPV, P-Money, Spaceman Spiff, CH3, Sleepy CBR, Danzel the Terrible, Green Thumb, Frank Nicholas, Adam Verby, Hey Ryan, Hockey Rounds, Just a Shy Guy, Jimmy the Cow, Natter FPV, Whoop Fox, Nathan Wells, License to Drive, Ricardo Penders. Hey, License to Drive just put a really cool new Radio Master ELRS 2.4 T antenna holder up on his Thingiverse. If you don't know, License to Drive, who is Haku 3D over on Thingiverse, he's got some of the coolest 3D print designs. So go check him out on Thingiverse. You'll love him. JP Spin FPV, Ricardo Angular FPV, Capital C, Jimmy the Cow, Orex, Uke, P-Money, Flycadelic, Orex again, JP Spin, Jeremy, Queem FPV, CWEAM, Denzel the Terrible, Off Axis. Trying to sort through all the repeats. Hockey Rounds. I think I got pretty much everybody. Mupshot. Up Left, Jamie Flies FPV, FPV Wilco, RStang50. All right, I think I got everybody. If I didn't get you, that must feel like shit. No, just come back next time. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. I didn't do it on purpose, I swear. In the chat, if you want to talk to me, type at CiottiFPV. You can do that with each other. If you type at and then you spell the person's name correctly and you do or don't put the spaces in the right spots, if you do put the spaces in the right spots or don't put any spaces if you shouldn't, for that person, their name will light up in orange. If you want to see what that looks like, just type at in your own name. And if you spell it right, it'll light up in orange and you'll get to see what I see. Denzel the Terrible says, greetings CiottiFPV and all you miscreants. Nyafu says, is there a 3.5-inch frame? Coming in hot with the questions. I love it. Is there a 3.5-inch frame that would let me hot swap ducts? Great question. I need a rig to do simple cinematic work, but can't afford to build a $500 quad right now. So that is exactly what I tried to do with the Tooth Fairy from FPVCycle. Oddly enough, I'm wearing my FPVCycle long sleeve shirt right now. This is the one, there may be others, but this is the one that I know of. This is the Tooth Fairy 2, actually. It's set up for a 20x20 stack or 25.5 by 25.5. The thing that's kind of annoying about the Tooth Fairy 2 is that it's specifically designed for the Vista or the RunCam Link, which is actually fine because they're arguably the best FPV camera VTX system if you're going to be carrying an external HD camera. But it actually uses the Vista in the rear here as the rear standoffs. It's hard to show you, but like literally these press nuts here on the top, there's screws that come up through the bottom. They go through the Vista, and then they go directly into these press nuts, and it literally uses the Vista as the rear standoffs, which is kind of brilliant until there are no more, until the Vistas, disappear forever. But yeah, I initially had this set up as so that is also one of the limitations of this build is the deck height. And so I initially had this set up with a 20 by 20 stack, and it was really crammed in there. The deck height is the thickness basically of the Vista. It looks like there's an M2 nylock nut sitting on top of the Vista as well to pull down on the Vista. So yeah, an M2 nylock nut is either 2 or 3 millimeters. I think it's 2 millimeters tall, but I'll just hold on. I can just look at what the standoffs are on this. So the standoffs, the deck height that you have to build with is 15 millimeters, which is tight. Totally doable. That's what she said. Sorry, I missed it. Totally doable, but it's tight. But if you can absolutely do it with an AIO. I eventually moved this over to the really expensive but really nice Acon 25 by 25 really high amp AIO. And so this is bulletproof, right? Like it's got to build a 20 by 20 stack into this. I had to use low amp, little thin micro electronics, and even though it's just a Cinewhoop, right? When you're picking up a big heavy camera, a Cinewhoop pulls a bunch of it hits the battery hard, and having that and like for working rigs, I try not to skimp on the electronics, and basically what that means is that I use 5-inch electronics for 3-inch Cinewhoops and 3.5-inch rigs in this case. And so I never really liked that I couldn't fit any proper 5-inch 20 by 20 stacks in here. So I moved over to this AIO, and it's been totally fine on this. I trust it because it's Acon. And so here's the deal. There are a whole bunch of different arms available for this. Right now, this has the full-blown Cinewhoop arms on it, where you can put the Cloud 149 or HQ StanFPV ducts on it. Or you can get these carbon fiber death ducts. They're not ducts at all. They're death guards. And you can run these death guards on it with a 3.5-inch propeller. If you put the proper ducts on it to make it a Cinewhoop, you have to go down to a 3-inch propeller. If you go up to these death guards, you can do a 3.5-inch propeller. And then they also sell, FPVCycle also sells Freestyle arms for this, 3-inch and 3.5-inch Freestyle arms for this. So yeah, this is the frame that I know of that will do exactly what you're asking for, and it performs really well in all setups. Here's the deal though. If you build something like this and you put the Freestyle arms on it and you start flying it freestyle and smashing it, it's not a cinematic rig anymore. Like, you're going to have a set of motors that aren't beat to hell for when you set this up as a Cinewhoop, and then you're going to have another set of motors for when you freestyle fly it. Unless you freestyle fly without crashing, right? So that's going to kind of be a little bit of a limitation there. But it's an awesome frame with a lot of different arm options. And this setup, I had to do something weird for this setup here. What the hell was it? Oh yeah. So the 3.5-inch Freestyle arms are the ones that are set up for these death guards. I had to cut these guards down in the corners here quite a bit to get them to clear with the Cinewhoop arms. But I really wanted to do that so that if I'm out like on a gig or whatever, and I want to go from the death setup to the Cinewhoop setup, I don't have to switch the arms out. So it is doable to get these silly guard things and then mod them a little bit so that you can run them on the Cinewhoop arms. And then you can have something like this on 3.5-inch propellers with like very little, like no duct whatsoever, right? This flies really fast, and it does really well in the wind. And then you can just take your 4 motor screws off. That'll remove this outer guard part. And then you can put your duct, you can switch the propellers to 3-inch propellers, put your duct on, 1 screw, 2 screws, 3 screws for the duct, bolt the motor back down. The only thing you have to do, though, is you have to carry an extra set of motor screws with you, because these guys bolt in between the motor and the arms. So you got to run extra long motor screws. So I have a little kit. When I bring this with me on set, I have a little kit that has a set of the ducts with the set of the right length motor screws. And I can, within 10 minutes or so, switch this thing if I ever needed it. This is like the second level backup, though. I mean, it's set up like this in case there's a bunch of wind or I need to go really fast. And I do bring this with me quite a bit. But if like my main Cinewhoop does die, yeah, I can swap this over and create another Cinewhoop with it. Tooth Fairy 2 from FPVCycle. Really cool frame. I don't fly it a lot, but every once in a while it has. You know where I flew this? I flew this at Pride almost every year. For the last 3 years, I have flown Pride Atlanta, and I like to get the. It's held at Piedmont Park in this big clearing, but around this big clearing, and so there's like thousands of tents and easy ups and it's set up and a full stage, and it's crazy. And around this clearing, there's all these trees. And so I always bring that and I put like a battery or 2 through it, just zooming up over the trees. And then that's pretty much it. I don't really fly it much else than that, because most actual work you're going to get, realistically, you're just going to be flying a Cinewhoop. So
jumping ahead a bit,
Kevin,
Niafu,
can you think of another one? I was about to bug you.
Yeah, Niafu says Niafu, whatever. Would just adding motor-mounted ducts on a normal frame not work? The Tooth Fairy seems a little fragile.
Tooth Fairy is actually not fragile. That is a more durable frame than I actually bought 2 or 3 of those Tooth Fairy 2s because it has 4mm thick arms and the Cinesplore only has 3mm thick arms. I was going to move all of my Cinewhoops over to the Tooth Fairy frame for those stronger arms, but the problem ended up being the deck height. I didn't want to lock myself into the Vista, and I didn't want to run AIOs on everything, so I just have that one. But it is actually it is plenty durable. That is a good question, though. There are ducts that you just mount under the motor. The problem is that you've got all that, like, you're mounting it here, and then so if the duct hits anything, it just breaks the motor mount base. Like, it's just, and especially like on a Cinewhoop, right? Like, you're going to end up at 400, 500 grams. Those ducts are not going to be very strong. You could certainly argue that with a Cinewhoop, you're not really going to be crashing, but like, yeah, you are. Like, you'll crash for sure. I guarantee it. And so I don't know about those. Those are also like really heavy, and they block a bunch of thrust because they're down below, in the airflow. So it's going to be heavier, less efficient, and fly worse. It's, you could certainly give it a shot. I have a set of 4-inch, I think they are, of those from StanFPV, and I put them on a setup. No, I have a 5-inch. It's a set of 5-inch motor-mounted ducts, and it was just so heavy and big, and like, I don't know. I wouldn't trust them from like a God forbid you crash standpoint. It's just gonna break, and then you're kind of up shit's creek. But yeah, technically they will work. It's just there's gonna be some pretty serious downsides to them, but in a pinch, they'll absolutely work. If you're gonna like, if you need them for like use once or twice and you're probably never going to use them again, that's probably the way to go. But if you think you're actually going to be, you know, needing something, if you're going to fly 100 batteries through something with ducts on it, I would not do it with those. Does that make sense? Really good question. Hey, so I want any of you that have questions on BnFlies to call out the BnFly. Tonight, what I want to do, like I did yesterday, I like super ran out of time yesterday. I didn't realize we'd have so much fun doing it. I want to talk about how you can spot a good BnFly from a bad BnFly. There are too many out there, and none of these companies send them to me. And so I don't have like firsthand experience with many BnFlies. But like nobody does. Nobody knows all of the BnFlies. So it makes much more sense for me to kind of go through a bunch of product pages with you and just show you things here, there, everywhere that are going to be like, yo, don't get this. Look out for this, or do get this. And so this will help you be able to spot a good BnFly from a bad BnFly. I feel like that's got more value to it than like, hey, look, this is a good one. What about the 400 other ones? I don't know. But just buy this one because my affiliate link. Yay! Up yours, world. I got the zoom wrong on this camera again because reasons. That's a little bit better. Cheers, friends. I'm drinking a gin and tonic. I don't know why. It's going to make my stomach hurt. And then I'm going to have diarrhea tomorrow.
See, you should be drinking what I'm drinking, which is a delicious cold bottle of H2O.
That's what's in this.
Yeah, but you're not drinking that.
All I ever drink is water. I get, man, like, I swear to God, it's like once a week that I drink something other than water. Like, it's just so sad. P-Money says echoing voices. It shouldn't be echoing.
It was him. He figured it out later.
All right, awesome. Nyafu also says a BnFly that does suck is the new Mobula 804. It has a really bad tune, so many vibration issues. That's crazy. I took the Mobula 704 and dropped it into the Mobula 8 frame with the Mobula 8 motors, and it was totally fine, like ridiculously good, right off the rip. That's harsh. That I actually didn't know that the Mobula 804 existed until a couple of days ago. It was actually one of the ones that I wanted to point out yesterday. Have you talked to Happy Model about it yet? Shoot them a message. They'll get back to you. I talked to Happy Model on Facebook Messenger. Shoot them a message on Facebook Messenger, and they'll almost certainly get back to you. Just don't be mean. Just be like, you know, I just got the Mobula 804 and the tune looks a little weird and I have a lot of vibration issues. Any idea what's going on? Don't like, you know, message them and be like, yo, you make horrible shit. I'm going to stab you. Fix this or die. You'll get a totally different reaction to that. Maybe. Maybe not. Denzel the Terrible says, who the heck is a CiottiFPV nerd? I came here to see Teddy. I want my money back. Well, you get your money's worth here on this stream. When you tune into me on YouTube, man, you get your money's worth, goddammit. Nyafu also says, I can get 04 Pro for $230 and can ship them to the US for about $8. Can I / should I sell them for $280 or $300 to people in the US? It's cheap enough that I could do free shipping. Yeah, the problem's going to be, on our side, we might get hammered with tariffs. So that's tough. But yes, you should, because we can't get them. And like any ways for us to get them is a good thing. And like there's probably a way around it. Like if you just mark it as like, I don't know, a toy or like a grenade, maybe it'll just be fine. Mark it as a grenade, it'll totally be fine. Mark it as a red hat, and we'll actually get paid. The tariff will be reversed. We'll get a bonus. We'll get extra money.
This is not financial advice. Also,
living nightmare every day. Every day is a little bit worse than the one right before. Go ahead, Kevin. Sorry.
Because of the DJI ban, it is possible that they either get seized or turned around at the border. So you might just end up have either nothing to show for your money or have a pile of O4s that you are going to have a hard time selling locally.
But I do doubt that, because there's plenty of random shit that comes through that looks like a little metal box, right? Like, I can't imagine a world where they're going to be able to enforce little metal boxes and cameras coming in. It's a drone coming through and getting X-rayed is pretty obvious, right? But like something like this, I can't imagine a world where they'll figure out how to like get many, if any of them. But
I mean,
it's absolutely true. You're totally rolling the dice.
you've seen that evidently you can print Flywoo on the box and it just skates right through, right?
Awesome. There we go. So yeah. I mean, like, I'm assuming that they're being X-rayed, and so, you know, I can't imagine that the X-ray machine is going to pick up where it says DJI on it. But you never know. Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit sketchy, but like, realistically, you're probably totally fine. And or just write Flywoo on the bike. Just literally crudely cross DJI out and hand write Flywoo. It'll be totally fine. JV Flies FPV says hi. CH3 says, in your X14, are you having problems with the black box? Because my BBL files are like 2, 34, 59 seconds long and all corrupted. I actually have not gotten the X14 built yet, because I swear to fucking Christ, if I can't find these Happy Model 1102 motors, I'm going to jump off of a building. If someone in this watching this live stream doesn't confirm with me that I sold the Happy Model 1102 10,000s roughly a month ago, I'm going to lose my mind. There we go. I'm saying that every live stream in just praying that someone helps me out, because those are the motors that I really want to put onto this thing, and so the build is just kind of waiting here. I have heard of that problem though. Apparently, the black box chip in the X14 does not have much storage on it. So what I'm going to do, and so maybe what's happening is you're logging in 2K, and then it's filling the chip up, and maybe that's what's corrupting it or whatever. So log in 1K. It's only gonna record up to 500 hertz, is it? Hold on, I just had Black Box Explorer up earlier. I closed it already. It's gonna log the important part, which is down low. I think it logs from 0 to 500 hertz, and that's the most important bit. It's rare that you need from 500 to 1,000. But yeah, log it in a lower rate. That'll make the files smaller, and see if that helps. I will get this built at some point here, probably this week, and then I'll start struggling with it as well, because I've heard that from a bunch of people. Hey, Ryan says, dude, I did the 75mm frame biblade combo. It's on the AIO5 and the same motors you lost last week. That seems like, that seems personal. This is the motors you lost last week, you jerk. Do you like it? What is it good? I didn't have luck with my AIO5 on the 1.6-inch props. Oh, love it. You said love it. Okay, cool. Yeah, I forget. Oh, that was back before we had good motors. Now, the AIO5 with Gep RC 1002 25,000s, that I would probably dig. And I'm not, but see, my AIO5 is in the little drift car chasing rig, and it kind of works in that setting. So I don't know if I'll pull that AIO5 out of there and do the 75mm frame thing. But man, I've had that AIO5 into a lot of different setups, and for the first time, I think this is where I'm like, okay, this is an actual credible use for it. For those of you that, you know, spent a ton of money on the HDZero goggles, that will be goddamned if you just use them for analog, I totally get it. That combo there, 1.6-inch prop outdoor setup, that was the closest to being like an actual freestyle rig that I would fly. You're flying outside, there's a bunch of scraggle. HDZero is a little bit better quality. you're not flying inside the house where you're going to go behind walls and have to deal with the horrendous looking breakup. And so you're flying outside, right, in clear air. So hopefully it won't break up very much so that you don't have to look at rainbow cubes all over the place. So yeah, that's awesome, dude. If there had been the Gep RC 1002 25,000s when I was doing that, I would probably still have that setup put together. Angular FPV says, Tooth Fairy 2, what guards? Those are FPVCycle. Don't see on the site. I was worried about that. Oh. So, Bob Brugge, the man behind FPVCycle, he's a dentist. He's actually a dentist to the stars. Sort of the stars. He's a dentist for a lot of porn stars in LA. And so he's a super busy guy outside of FPV. And about 2 years ago, his dental practice, I think, seemed to get really busy, and a lot of stuff started to sell out on his store. And I meant to hit Tooth Fairy, not Toothpick. Here we go, Tooth Fairy. And yeah, man. Sometimes the extra arm. Yeah, here you go. So you hit the frame in order to find the arms. So, so when you buy the frame. So this is what you do. You buy the 3.5-inch version of the Tooth Fairy 2, and it comes with a set of I think these exact arms here. These are the 3.5-inch Freestyle arms. And then you can buy the 3-inch arms here, Freestyle 3-inch arms. And then here's the 3-inch Cinewhoop arms. And then there it is, carbon prop guards for 3.5 arms. So he's got all the stuff. You don't want the 5-inch Tooth Fairy arms. That's just silly. That's just ridiculous. You get the frame here, and then you just go right down the list. 1, 2, maybe not 3. You might not want or need the 3-inch arms. You'll have the 3.5-inch arms. You can run 3-inch props on the 3.5-inch arms. And then, yeah, you get these guard things here. So what do you end up spending? Hey, by the way, I have an affiliate link over on CiottiFPV.com to FPVCycle. Hit that if you're going to buy something here, if you don't mind. So, like, what do you end up spending here? So, wow, it's really cheap. $33 for the frame. I love Bob so much. Bob ran this business at zero profit. He charged what the stuff costs him to have made, and like any website costs, or he had an employee, so like the employee payment costs were there, but he didn't take any money from FPVCycle because he's a dentist and dentists make plenty of money. And so that's why stuff on his it's one of the reasons stuff on his website is so inexpensive. Yep, there you go. There's the wacky guard things. So you add them. And then here's the Cinewhoop ducts. Looks like he doesn't have a picture of the arms with the Cinewhoop ducts. Doesn't have a picture of those. Add those to the cart. And then he sells, realistically, like he sells 3D printed ducts, but they break pretty easily. So $83 here for the frame and the different arms and the oh wait, no, there's 2 frames on here. Well, that's actually good, because then you get an extra set of camera plates and an extra top plate and an extra bottom plate. So 3-inch Tooth Fairy 2 for the Cinewhoop. Okay, so this is a frame. This is not just the arms. This is a full frame. So yeah, it looks like you have to buy a full frame to get the Cinewhoop arms, and then you got to buy a full frame to get the 3.5-inch arms, and then you can buy these things separate, and then if you want to do it as a 3-inch rig, you can buy the 3-inch arms too. And then what you do for the ducts is you either get the Cloud 149 ducts, which Race Day Quads used to sell, but maybe they don't anymore.
I haven't seen those in a while, actually.
I haven't either. Here's where Race Day Quads used to sell them. So, Well, that's the foam for them, but you need the actual plastic ducts. Wow, this is unavailable anyway. That's what they look like. Ah, balls. Reptile cloud duct. Hold on, let's just search for this real quick.
I think Rect has them.
Just that. Well, Rect is just going to drop ship from somewhere, though, so if they have them, somebody else has them.
Oh, no, they're sold out.
I'm searching for reptile cloud duct now. These were my less preferred duct, but they are a really tall, really slow duct. So they're really nice to have. If you guys can find them, do me a favor, drop a link on my Discord, which is linked over on CiottiFPV.com, because it is the cloud ducts are really cool. They're super tall. It makes the rig fly super slow and just like a real traditional Cinewhoop. The real duct that you want, like the best duct for Cinesplores and the Tooth Fairy 2 is the StanFPV. I forget what he calls it, but it's poured by HQ. It's poured by HQ and molded. So it's Proxy EXT ducted propeller guard. This is amazing. HQ poured it in their crazy durable plastic. I have hammered the living shit out of these ducts for the last 3 years, and I've never broken one. I've stripped them out. The holes here, the holes that you mount to the arm, they're threaded in plastic when you get them, and they have big long screws. The first time you crash, it'll back off and or strip the plastic out. What you want to do is put heat set inserts into this. And then once you do that, you'll never break one of these. They're really, really good. Yeah, that's the right setup. And they're a good shape. They're not just like a straight up and down duct. They have like an actual shape to them. So they're really efficient. And yeah, they don't block any thrust down below the motor. Really, really, really good. I mean, this is really as good as it gets for Cinewhoops. The Cinesplore and the Tooth Fairy 2, these were like the last of the Cinesplores to come out, and Bob very obviously like learned a lot from everybody else. What is this? Wall Street? What? Don't show me this. Get out of here. What is this, Brave? Don't get out of here. What? No, now I clicked on it. What? There we go. That's better. We're going to get FPV.
Is this a potential solution for Nyafu's need? Because it comes with those carbon pieces that you can mount under the motors.
What is it? Tell me.
on the StanFPV ducts.
Oh,
they come with those carbon pieces now that you send your screws through, and so the injection molded bits mount to carbon fiber that is sandwiched between the motor and your actual arm.
Hold on. What are you looking at those ducts?
Yep. I dropped a link in chat if you want.
How did I miss that? What am I, blind?
Yeah, I got it with the last set of them that I ordered, and I was like, "What are these things?" And then I went, "Oh, that's kind of cool."
Yeah, totally. That's gonna rotate the mount. All right. So here's what I'll say. That's gonna rotate the mount sideways, so you're gonna have basically twice as much stuff under the duct blocking thrust. But this is a universal setup, which is really cool. This may or may not be stronger than the straight up duct setup. So StanFPV is the main one that has the other. That's really cool. That's a good find there, dude. I didn't know this existed. Stan is the one he's the main one that has the universal ducted guards, right? And so yeah, either that or this. To me, this is gonna block way more thrust, but this is a molded, like sort of aerodynamic support, whereas that carbon fiber piece is just awful, right? Because it's flat in the worst possible orientation. So like, This setup is probably going to be weaker because it's going to, the lever arm is huge. It's mounted at the center there, and then you're going to smash the duct all the way at the end. So this is probably the weaker of the two options. And that's how I would kind of decide. If you're never going to crash it, you can probably get away with that other option. If you are going to crash it, I think I would go this route. Because this is carbon fiber and you're probably not going to break this. And then you put those heat set inserts in here and away you go.
The other thing to know about those ducts is that they go directly onto Bob's dedicated 3-inch Cinewoop frame, which I forget the name of, but I have 2 of upstairs.
Yeah, true. Right. If you go this route, if eventually you go to the Tooth Fairy 2 or the Cinesplore or the Cinesplore 2, you've already got the ducts.
Cinesplore.
So, yeah, this is maybe the way to go. Very cool. Good for Stan. I wonder if he made that recently, because I have not seen that, and I come on here every so often.
I got the last set of ducks I got those carbon pieces with, and that was probably a year and a half ago, and it was about a year before that I had ordered the set before that didn't have them. So
wow, that's
wild.
It's
wild.
been
In the last 2 years.
So for the record, this is the 4-inch set of ducts that I got. They are for 5-inch rigs, but then since they take up a bunch of space here, you can only run a 4-inch prop. And so I set one of my glides up with this, and it was just unruly. It was just so heavy, so loud. So like I took them right off, and they're just sitting in a bag. I've never used them again. And like, you know, you've got 5-inch motors on here with big pitchy 4-inch props. Like, it's a death machine. It's that, like, you know, oh, I have guards on it. Well, great. You can't fly it around anyone, and that's like sort of the whole point of putting guards on, is that you can fly around people. It's just horrifying. But I was trying a thing, and it didn't necessarily work out. So if you were to do the 3-inch version of these, it would be a lot potentially less horrifying. But here's the deal. To use the 3-inch version of these, you're going to have to build a 4-inch rig, because the duct itself takes up a bunch of space, right? Like, and now you're stuck with like a 4-inch frame. You might be able to, you could probably do it with a 3.5-inch frame. I wonder if it says on the 3-inch ducts. 3-inch universal ducts fits most 3-inch FPV frames. Most, not all. Which frame do they have it on here? I can't even tell. But yeah, just fair warning, if you go this route, I would want to, at minimum, put this on a 3.5-inch build so that you have enough space for the actual duct itself. Or just go the other route. I think this would be the better route here, because someday you'll buy a Cinesplore or a Tooth Fairy 2 because they're awesome frames. All right, cool. Let's look at some BnFs. Let me get a little bit more caught up on chat, though. Hold on. I saw like 3 or 4 chat comments in a row.
Literally, the next question is about BnFs, so it's perfect.
Amazing. Nyafu says, would just adding motor-mounted ducts more from that to the... Got the Angler FPV says, I see the carbon guard option now. Cool. Jeremy P says, knowing there's no real answer out there, out of these 3, which one pops up first in your head as goodbye? Mobula 6 2024 V3, Hummingbird V4, Mobula 6.
I would not buy the old school Mobula 6 anymore, because the 2G4 has the SPI built-in dealie, and that's about to go unsupported, is my understanding.
Are you well, I mean, but that just means you can't update to the newest Betaflight that doesn't do anything for us, right?
Yep. Well, filtering's gotten better, some features have gotten better, but yeah.
So, like, goodbye is really hard. I'm just going to tell you what each one of those does better, and then you pick, Jeremy. Because, like, you know, my idea of a goodbye is going to be completely different than every single other person, right? So, Mobula 6 2024 V3. That is going to be... it's lightweight, regular motor plugs, so easy to swap motors around. Those are the 2 main strengths of that setup. The G-string canopy is pretty strong. You do have to use it with only cameras that have the holes in the corners, but that's okay. There's a bunch of those cameras out there. And so lightweight, lightweight and easy to swap motors on. Hummingbird V4, pain in the ass to swap motors on. Luckily, the motors it comes with are pretty good. They're not super efficient, but they make lots of power. So just buy more batteries and the efficiency issue goes away. The problem with the Hummingbird V4 is the OSD flickers in and out, which is not the end of the world, but it is annoying sometimes. Hummingbird is going to come from Newbie Drone, which is cool because they're stateside. Although Happy Models customer service is really good, even though they're on the other side of the world. There's nothing wrong with any three of these options, for the record. And then old school Mobula 6, the main plus is that the 2G4 is absolutely indestructible. You put it onto Betaflight 4.5, and I can't imagine any of these new Betaflights having anything super groundbreaking. It is a little bit annoying that you won't, if there is something groundbreaking in the next version of Betaflight, you won't be able to use it. But like, come on, it's a tiny whoop, right? There hasn't been anything groundbreaking introduced into Betaflight in about 4 years. So you're pretty safe there. And then regular motor plugs again, so you can swap motors around. So yeah, old school Mobula 6 durability is the big thing that you're going to get there. New school Mobula 6 lightweight, I think is the big thing that you're going to get there, but also the motor plugs. And then Hummingbird V4 lightweight as well. NX69, it's going to come with the NX69 setup. Those batteries are really good. Nothing wrong with them. Although now you can't go Lava V2, which outperformed the NX69, so that's not really a positive.
And your only battery supplier is Newbie Drone.
Yeah, which is fine. I mean, they make the Nature Nectar Golds available everywhere. So I'm trying to figure out an actual plus of the Hummingbird V4. The motors that the Hummingbird V4 comes with are significantly better than both Mobula 6s, the new and the old. So that's it. The big plus of the Hummingbird is the motors make great power. The big plus of the Mobula 6 2024 is lightweight and swappable motors. The big plus of the old Mobula 6 is durability and swappable motors. So there you go. That's how you buy between those three. None of them have like a huge disadvantage, but disadvantage of the old school Mobula 6 is SPI. Eventually you won't be able to update Betaflight onto it. Big disadvantage of the Mobula 6 2024 is it's when these things get lighter weight, one of the ways they shrink the PCBs down, and then they don't have as much space for capacitors, and so the video system is a little bit more noisy on the Mobula 6 2024, and the electrical system is a little bit more noisy, so you can't get as dialed of a tune. You can still get a plenty dialed tune, but compared to the old school Mobula 6, which is heavier, you get a little bit more lightweight, but you get a little bit more lightweight, more electrical noise. And then the big disadvantage of the Hummingbird V4 is the motor plugs and the OSD. There you go. There's the pluses and minuses of those three. That's how you should buy those three. Anything else you can think of, Kevin?
I mean, I literally just got somebody addicted to the hobby this weekend, and I told them to go buy a Mobula 6 2024 V3. So
nice. Yeah, to be honest, like I don't think you can go wrong with any of those three options. All three of those options are so much better than like any tiny whoops that we've had for like the first 7 or 8 years that I was into FPV. Like all three of those are so good. The Hummingbird, you don't really need to upgrade. You can just rip that thing. Like those motors that it comes with make tons of power. You're just going to have to buy a couple extra batteries. The old school Mobula 6 is bomb proof. The 2024 is super lightweight. Throw a crazy set of motors on there and away you go. All three of those are you're going to have so much fun with them. You can take all three of them and swap them over into whatever frame you want. yeah, really 3 really good options. Whoopfox says EMax bind and fly Tinyhawk 3 plus freestyle. Let's see.
Yeah, that was actually going to be my suggestion for tonight.
Tinyhawk 3 plus freestyle.
Oh,
Biggest
no, the
thing I
other
don't like
Tinyhawk,
about
sorry.
this. Say again.
I was thinking of the other Tinyhawk, the white frame Tiny Whoop.
Oh, cool. Remind me. We'll look at that one next.
Yep.
So Tinyhawk is kind of sort of the spiritual successor of the Babyhawk. Not really, but kind of. Babyhawk is what I started on. This is a very decent starting option, but that's it. This is not for any. If you already have a drone, you do not buy this. This is either your first drone, or it's for when you get somebody else into the hobby. Solid base plate is my main is the main thing that I don't like about this, because with something that's big enough to swing, what are these, 3-inch props? I'll bet, or are they 2.5? Propellers, Avan Rush 2.5. Okay, so it's a 2.5-inch prop. 2.5-inch props. Yeah, I don't know. You could build this for removable arms. 3-inch rigs, there's no excuses. 3-inch rigs should have removable arms, no, unquestionably. 2.5-inch rigs, you could actually kind of argue it, but still, solid bottom plate is annoying as hell. If you break any part of this bottom plate, you have to take the entire thing apart and swap it out. It's just kind of silly. Also, like, this base plate design, like this, there's way too much in here blocking thrust. Like, this is way too much. Also, doing this and then having this cut out is not a good idea. It's a better idea to just have one big, thicker chunk of single arm that connects here. So this is kind of a silly base plate design. The camera on this is not great. Which is this is the HDZero one. Do they make this? Not is the plus HDZero?
I think you have the option, don't you?
Let's see. Let's look it up on their website. Oh, it was right there in front of me. FPV system. FPV system. Okay, so analog or HDZero. EMax sent me one of these a long time ago, and the camera was a little bit rough. It might be a Runcam Nano 3. Let's see if we can find it real quick. Let me just do a quick find for the word analog.
Yeah, it's a Runcam Nano. It doesn't say which version, but I'm almost certain that it's the 3 given.
Okay, yeah, so it's a Runcam Nano 3. The Runcam Nano 3 I'm totally fine with on a tiny whoop that goes 4 miles an hour. On a 2.5-inch rig like this that's gonna book it, it's not good enough. It's not a good enough camera. And so again, first rig, awesome. But not as a first rig, nah, not great. The other issue that I had with it is just the motors. They're just really underpowered motors. They're like I think they're like an 1103. No, 1202 and a half.
Yep.
1202 and a half, 7,000 kV, and then they want you to run it on 1S. So like on 1S, it's brutal. Will it run on 2S? Let me see.
The flight controller is 2S capable.
2S, yeah. So the flight controller will do 2S. And if I remember correctly, on 2S, it was still not great. 7,000 kV. So one of the things that was very confusing to me is that they put a really heavy duty propeller on here. This is an itty bitty little motor, and then this is a really heavy 2.5-inch prop. This 2.5-inch prop is awesome on a 1404 on like 4S. But on these on like 1S or 2S, this propeller is just way too heavy. So like if you get this, absolutely get it off of these propellers as soon as possible. It flies so much better on a lighter weight propeller. Like a really thin toothpick style biblade, or even like a really thin low pitch triblade. the only problem with doing that is that like those lightweight thin props are very low pitch, and so they need a lot of RPM to make good thrust, and these motors are only 7,000 kV. And so like you kind of have to run it on 2S. But even on 2S, 7,000 kV is still kind of low. So it's a rig that's never going to make a lot of power. Again, okay for your first build ever, but beyond that, doesn't really make a lot of sense. Oh God, the other thing, the antenna. Holy hell, this is hands down the worst 5.8 antenna I have ever seen. It works horrible, and then when I cracked this antenna opened, it was the antenna wire soldered to a square chunk of metal. It was the weirdest, worst antenna I've ever seen. The antenna is completely worthless. It has to be replaced. So yeah, it's rough. The Tinyhawk 3 is a little bit rough. There is another Tinyhawk that's actually really good though.
Tinyhawk 2, the white one?
Maybe? Let me see. Maybe it's not even a Tinyhawk. Let's see. I think there's a 3-inch one. I think there's a 3-inch Tinyhawk that was actually pretty decent.
So there's the Babyhawk 3.5.
That's it.
Can carry a DJI 03.
That's the one. So it's the Babyhawk. Where you at, Babyhawk? Babyhawk 03. Oh my God. Yep. If you're gonna buy an EMax rig, the Babyhawk is the way to go. As always, man. The Babyhawk was my very first FPV rig, and at the time it was awesome. And yeah, the Babyhawk has continued to be awesome. This is, if you're gonna do a frame with not a single arm, this is how you do it. Not the way the Tinyhawk does it. This is how you do it. You take advantage of the fact that you're going to have a double arm for each motor, and you crank the one all the way up by the camera, and then you connect the rear one so that you can actually make like an A-arm design. One of the issues that we deal with in FPV is that when with your arm, say this is the arm, this is the motor here. When oh yeah, here we go. So if this is the arm with your motor on it, right? When the motor starts to vibrate, it twists, and with a single arm, it is relatively easy to twist that arm. Rosser shows this in some of his, like, I don't know if it's considered CFD analysis, but like his crazy drawings that he shows from that crazy software that he has that looks at where the forces go. And you'll always see like this. He always looks at like the twisting node, and that's one of the big reasons that he uses the A-arm design. And when you do this A-arm and you get that twisting, it's just, there's nothing, it doesn't happen, right? Because you have, your arms are like this. And so the motor can twist all the hell at once. It's just going to push on one or push on the other. And so that twisting problem completely goes away. When you have an A-arm design like this, there are other issues that pop up. And I'm very on the fence whether or not the A-arm design is a good idea or not. Like, because it causes its own issues. Namely, that when you crash this into something and you put something right here, it annihilates this tiny little thin piece of carbon fiber, right? So like for freestyle rigs, we haven't seen them all go to an A-arm design. I think mainly because of that reason. It also complicates the build, and there's more hardware and blah, 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 blah. So I think the single thick arm design that we continue to see on, freestyle rigs is still kind of the way to go. But there are advantages to a design like this. And like I said, this is how you do it. If you're going to have a design with not just a single spar for the arm, take advantage of the fact that you're doing that and separate those two connection points. So yeah, the Babyhawk has always been, and hopefully will always be, awesome. And yeah, this thing flies great. It swings 3.5-inch props. These, I believe, are 1404 motors, which are going to do better on a 3-inch prop. But if you want more efficiency, or if you do a 3.5-inch biblade, that's going to be awesome on this thing. Let me just confirm that these are 1404s. Oh, what? Do you not have a spec section? You're fucking kidding me. It doesn't say anywhere what the motors are. This can't be real life. This is obviously not real life. Okay, we're in the simulation. That does it. I'm going to assume that it's this motor here. They're 1404. It certainly looks like they're 1404. That is absolutely absurd that they don't have a little spec section telling me what's in this thing. But I digress. So yeah, if you want to buy something from EMax, buy the Babyhawk. And for somebody that's brand new, have them get the Babyhawk, not the Tinyhawk. All right. Good question. Thank you, dude. Jimmy the Cow says, never drinks. Special occasion man. CiottiFPV never drinks. Special occasion man. Yeah, man. Yeah. It's fun. It's good this way, too, because I have, like, 0 tolerance for alcohol. And so I need, like, 1 drink to be, like, completely ruined and just throwing up. And no, it's not that bad, but it is way cheaper this way. Nyafu says, I mark it as camera lens and send it in the gift config. I send them in unmarked bags. There you go. That's the move. Super 62 FPV says, the sub 250 whoops suck. The 75mm is so heavy and underpowered. The 65mm has a tune like a Mack truck hit a tuba. Yeah, the sub 250 tiny whoops don't seem to be great. Some of their 3 and 3.5-inch stuff seems all right. But yeah, I've never heard a single good word about their tiny whoop stuff. Nyafu says, couldn't you check the live stream transcript? Oh, I have. I checked the shit out of the live stream transcript and I couldn't find it. Just a Shy Guy says, Mobula 8 or Meteor 75 Pro analog. Mobula 8 or Meteor 75 Pro. Great question. Here's the main problem with the Mobula 8 is that it's old. The analog Mobula 8 is very old. Is this it? Here it is. Yeah, so this has been around forever. The good part about it is that it's the best, it's kind of the only 2-inch tiny whoop frame. The motors are phenomenal. The 1103, 11,000 kV motors are brilliant. These propellers suck. Get rid of these immediately and put the GemFan 2023S propellers on, and it's that propeller and motor combo is ridiculously good. The AIO is awesome. It's an X12. It'll take 1S or 2S. It's in theory it's going to come on 2S. It better come on 2. Yeah, it's going to come with XT30 on 2S. That's great. The canopy sucks, so you're going to have to swap this canopy out. But the canopy sucks because it's fragile, so just fly it, and then the canopy will break, and then you can figure out what you're doing about a canopy. I'm not... God only knows what camera this thing is going to come with, but I mean, whatever. It's a camera. Versus Meteor 75 Pro. The Meteor 75 Pro is going to be significantly lighter weight. The main problem is that it's in this sort of no man's land where BetaFPV made up this intermediate size, that's not the one, which is a 1.8-inch propeller. And so there aren't many propeller options. There are only really 2 prop options that are remotely decent. They're both HQ ultralights. So they fly really good, but they're very fragile. And so the Meteor 75 Pro, because of the propellers, is a fragile build. And when the propellers break, they break at the hub, and then you can't take back off. So the Meteor 75 Pro is a great rig to leave on a rooftop forever because a propeller broke and you couldn't take it back off, right? So like you're handcuffed in that respect of only really having those 2 prop options. Luckily, I mean, there are 4 prop options, but the other 2 propellers are out of balance right out of the bag, so you can't really run them. And they're also really, super heavy. There's the props that it comes with. The props that it comes with are bad. Get rid of them right away. Depending on what version, I assume if you were to buy the Meteor 75 Pro now, it would come with a Matrix AIO, which might be also super fragile. There's a lot of different versions of the Matrix AIO. The next version of the Matrix AIO that's coming is supposedly going to be more durable. I don't doubt that it's going to be more durable. I don't know if it's going to be as durable as the X12 AIO though. Like we've pounded the shit out of the X12 on 1S and 2S, and it just seems to be indestructible. That's another huge thing. This is 1S only. This AIO and these motors will never run on. Will never be able to run on 2S. The AIO will literally explode, and the motors you would need to motor limit down to like 60%, and which is kind of too much. So one way to answer this is if you live somewhere windy, it's a heavier 2-inch rig. If you live somewhere less windy, the 1.8-inch rig. But like, not really. That's not really the right way to answer this, because there's a lot of other stuff going on. The X12 AIO and the Happy Model rig is a known quantity. It is bomb proof. It is awesome. 1S or 2S. That's a big deal, being able to run 2S through that. The Meteor 75 Pro, I guess if you have a ton of 1S 450 or 550 mAh batteries already, I guess maybe that would be a reason to get this. Or if you're desperate for something that's lightweight that you might be able to fly inside and outside, I guess maybe that's another reason to get this. But like, I would really push you pretty heavily towards the Mobula 8, especially if you're going to be flying outside. If you're going to be flying outside, exclusively outside, Mobula 8 kind of hands down. If you want to fly inside, you should build a 65mm rig. And again, that's what puts the 75 Pro in sort of no man's land. It's like, you know, not powerful enough for outside, but too heavy for inside. This thing inside the house is going to break everything you own. Like, this is heavy. This 75 Pro frame is a heavy bitch. Speaking of, I've got a walk snail one for sale. I've got a Meteor 75 Pro with walk snail on it for sale. It's going back up on the Etsy store. It was on the Etsy store, and now it's going back up there. I have to redo the listing though, because I put it into the bigger frame. These 1102 22,000 kV motors really like these bigger 1.8-inch propellers. When this was on the 1.6-inch props, it just didn't have enough power. That right there is one of the only reasons to go up to the Meteor 75 Pro frame. If you've got a set of motors that doesn't have enough RPM for a 1.6-inch prop, you can go up to this frame with these 1.8-inch props, and it makes a significant difference. So yeah, for you walk snail folks, this is a fully custom. This has actually even been black box tuned, yo. I bugged. There was a weird vibration going on when this was in the 1.6-inch frame, and I took a couple of logs and sent them to Brandon. And he helped me put a notch filter on there, and then I moved it to the bigger frame, and the problem went away. But it's still it's had a bunch of time tuning, and it flies great. 1S only. Walk snail light. It gets about 2.5 minutes ripping around the front yard on a 1S 450. You could also put a 550 or a 650 or whatever battery if you want more runtime, but run it on the 450s because they're nice and lightweight. So yeah, if you want this before I put it back on the Etsy store, just let me know. I'm also going to have a 2S walk snail build that I'm going to be selling, but I just need to do. No, I did. This is actually ready to go. I was about to say I got to do a black box log, but I did. I did a black box log, and it was crazy clean. This thing flies great. And I just tweaked the tune a little bit, and yeah, now this thing's good to go as well. It's on RC and Power 1002 18,000 kV motors, I think, that I motor limited down a little bit. Yeah, 19,000. RC and Power 1002 19,000 motor limited down. Mobula 7 V3 frame. They both have the old school Mobula 6 canopies opened up in the front a little bit. ORT Micro Vs. This has an ORT Micro V. This actually has a True RC Singularity inside the canopy. So it really, really looks like a ball sack when you hold it upside down. Just looks exactly like one. Hey! My CNC Madness order came in today. These are 2.5-inch baby turtle frames in green and blue. And so now, look, you get to see the 3 best colors of colored carbon fiber all together. The purple shows up the worst on camera, but it looks the coolest in real life. There's just, there you can really see it. There's a very specific angle that the light hits the purple that it shows up really nice. Hold on. Yeah, the purple one looks the coolest, but these are also very cool. So yeah, I'm gonna take the AIO, the X12 AIO out of this 2-inch analog baby turtle, and I'm gonna drop it into the 2.5-inch, and we'll get to see what that's like. I think it's gonna be a little too floaty, but we'll give it a shot. And then I don't know. I don't know if I'll pull the HD one apart to put into the other frame, or if we'll see. We'll see. I gotta find some motors for these. I got these set up for the 4-bolt motors, so I gotta go digging through my stash and find a good set of motors for these. No, I don't. I put aside those EMax motors. Yep, I've got the motors for these. EMax Performante 1303 7500 kV. I'm super curious if 7500 kV is going to be enough RPM. If it's not, I have this old set of RCX, what are these, 1103, I think? Yeah, RCX 1103 7800 kV motors with plugs on them. So I'll probably actually use these motors first since they have the plugs on them. The EMax motors are direct solder. So yeah, some fun 2.5-inch open prop content coming. And there's also a box from these fellas that I can't show you, but that you'll see at some point. Just a shot. Oh no, we got that. Denzel the Terrible says, I went with the Glide as my 5-inch of choice on CiottiFPV's recommendation. Couldn't be happier. Can't imagine wanting anything else. That's my LPT. Just copy gangly builds and you look like you know what you're doing. LPT? That's my LPT? LPT. What's that acronym? LPT?
Life Pro Tip.
Life Pro Tip. How did you know that? Why don't I know anything?
I spent like 15 years on Reddit.
That'll do it.
You won't catch me there anymore.
Oh, God, yeah, right. Perk27 says, do you know any 2-inch to 3-inch frames that would work with the Flywoo O4 Lite wide-angle lens? First ever DJI build. Any tips? Help. The problem with all these new is the problem. You know, when cameras change sizes, we all suffer because like the frames that we have these frames that are specifically designed for X or Y or Z camera size, and then when camera like the O4 Pro, that camera is massive. It didn't work in anything. There's like 2 frames in existence that the O4 Pro camera would actually fit in. And so that's a really tough one, man. Flywoo O4 Lite wide angle lens. Hold on, let me see. Which one is that? There's also like 14 different new wide angle O4 Lite lens things going on. So that makes the world that much more confusing. But DJI O4 Lite wide angle lens. Is that the one? O4 Lite wide angle lens. So that's probably the one. So I think this is the one that kind of just slides over the existing camera, and then you get like horrible lens flare all the time. If so, don't get this. Because you have a lens into a lens, and when you have a lens into a lens, the lens flare situation becomes unbearable. Also, Flywoo's site seems to be not working. That's pretty awesome. Mads Tech has, when he reviewed it, he showed how bad the lens flare was and talked a lot about it. I think I just saw a link to his video down there. Let me see if I can real quick.
When DJ released...
Hey, if I can really quickly find what I'm talking about. So it's going to happen every time you're pointing towards the sun. I don't want to play his video because that's when I will get copyright ding-donged.
It's in the box.
I can play like a couple seconds at
Overall
a time.
looks fine. No... to the sun. There you go.
There you go. So here it is. So you get this. You just get all these weird artifacts every single time the sun is in front of you, which is like, 30% of the time, 40% of the time, right? Because wide angle, 155 degrees wide angle, the sun's always going to be somewhere. It just looks bad. I've been flying the O4 Lites the whole year last year, and I don't have a complaint about the field of view. Is it less? Sure. Do you get used to it really quickly? Absolutely. Some people seem to have a huge problem with it. A lot of times those people haven't flown it or don't own it. The people that complain the loudest are the ones that like, I won't buy it because of that. Oh, great. So then you're going to go tell everyone not to buy it as well? Like, and the fact that it's lower field of view, it has less like pin cushion and less like fishbowl effect, and it's very linear. So I actually really like it. Like when I'm chasing the RC drift cars, that footage looks amazing. It's zoomed in a little bit, so it's closer to them without me having to get closer. And then it looks like straight and true. There's not any like weird rounded angles on the corners. So yeah, the O4 Lite is awesome as it is. I would say get it and try it as it is. And then if you absolutely hate it, Flywoo has, sure wish their website would work. Looks like their site's... Is their site down for you too, Kevin? Wait, maybe it's just this one product.
You said Flywoo's website?
Yeah. Why is it .net? Why is their website .net?
Let's see what
Is that the
flywoo.com
problem?
is. No, it is definitely flywoo.net.
That's... Wait, there is a .com, though.
Is a website.
Wait a second. What the hell?
But I think the official website is the .net.
Weird. Is it working for you?
Yeah, I'm waiting for it.
Catalog.
Oh, yeah, it loaded for me.
Okay, weird. Flywoo now sells an entire replacement camera with a wide-angle lens. That's what... If you have to have wider angle than what the regular O4 Lite gives you, that's what you want to do. Joshua just did a video on it a few days ago. In his video, he tried to use this conversion kit where you do it yourself, and he broke the daughter board off of the camera, destroying the camera. So maybe don't get this conversion kit, get the full camera that they sell, which I can't... Oh, was that it? Nope. Here it is. Is this it? Nope. Here it is.
I don't see the camera on their website anymore.
I got it. It's way down there for some strange reason. So yeah, for $40, O4 wide angle lens. No, this is the filter set. That's the filter set as well. Yeah, where the hell is just the camera? Is this it? $50.99? That would make sense. Wide air unit camera set. There you go. Yeah, so this is the this is what I would buy if I were you. But just run the O4 Lite the way it is. It's not that big a deal, in my opinion. And you might actually like it because you don't have any of that crazy rounded edges nonsense. But yeah, there you go. There's my thoughts on it. Get this out of here. Nyafu says, holy moly, this is perfect. Thank you so much. You're certainly welcome. Islander FPV says, my buddy has the Darwin FPV Hulk 2, and it's not hand launched. It sits on the underslung battery with a print stabilizer, crash upside down in the water, and it flips over on its own to take off. That's pretty slick. Okay, so that would explain it. That would explain why they set it up the way that they set it up, so that you can crash it in the water, it flips over, and then you can take it off. Okay. I don't know. The whole quads and water thing seems like a bad idea to me. But if you're flying on the lake all the time, maybe the Darwin Hulk is the way to go. I don't know, man. Throwing a rig into the water all the time and launching it out of the water seems like an awful idea. I can't imagine that would last very long doing that, but maybe it will. I don't know. Jimmy the Cow says, I too own the Darwin FPV Hulk and confirm it's not hand launch and uses a TPU printed mount on the bottom. You can land on grass, gravel, water, concrete. Oh shit, okay. Fair enough. It uses a TPU printed mount on the bottom. All right, there you go. How do you like it, Jimmy? How do you like the Darwin FPV Hulk 2? Yukon FPV says, I got someone in with the Hummingbird V4 and now he wants to split the 40 pack of NX batteries with me. LOL. Are you telling me that he bought a Hummingbird V4 and it came with a 40 pack of batteries, or did he buy a 40 pack of batteries? It almost sounds like it came with a 40 pack of batteries. That can't be.
I'm wondering if that's a typo and it was a 4-pack of batteries.
Well, they sent me a box with 40 of the NX69 batteries. That's why I've been putting 4 packs of those into all the giveaways for the last like 4 months.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So I wonder if they had to make 11 billion of these Hummingbird, Nitro Nectar Gold NX69 batteries, and so they're just like sending them to everyone, right? Like
They still do a battery swap thing also?
They do. Madness. You can send back all your old batteries and they give you a little bit of money for them. They were just talking about that on Joshua's stream before this. They worked out the math. It's not a massive discount, but it's not nothing. And like, what the hell are you going to do with your PH 2.0 batteries? Just a Shy Guy says, I have a Hummingbird V4 for inside. This next guy would be my first outdoor rig. Capital C says, I tried to do the lens mod this last weekend. I broke the UV lens and scratched the sensor. Total botch. Not an easy mod to do. Yep. That is why I haven't done it. You know, I like, there was a while there where every single live stream somebody would comment, Ciotti, why the hell are you not modding your O4 Lite cameras with the wide angle lens? And I just kept explaining, like, it's a bad idea. It's a bad idea to take the lens off, expose the sensor. You know, either the UV filter can pop off or you can easily scratch it. It's absolutely going to get dust on it. There is no way to open a camera up and expose the sensor and not get dust on it. It's just what happens. The smaller the sensor is, the bigger the dust specks are. This is from back in my photography days, like the 10 plus years that I spent doing photography with digital SLR cameras. Like, there were people that would, like, I can actually show you because I'm not using it anymore. There in the photography world, there are people that take their DSLR lens off and fucking talk to their friends and la 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 with the camera open like this, and those are the people with lots of dust on their sensor. And then there are those of us with functioning human brains that learn. So, I haven't done this in a long time. Hold on, let me see if I remember how to do this. There are those of us that learn that you can hit the release, just rotate it a little bit so that it's off the latch, and then, yep, and then you go barrel to barrel, and you go like that to swap your lenses, and we don't have dust all over our sensors. Sure, you can clean the sensors. It's a great way to scratch the sensor. And so, yeah, having a camera sensor open to the elements for even like 10 seconds is a terrible idea. And the process of modding that O4 Lite camera, that sensor is going to be exposed to the elements for a while, and it's going to be flat on the desk, and you're dealing with like glue and like, oh bro, like not a great idea. I guess in fairness, Flywoo was probably doing that, and they're probably not doing it in a clean room. So in theory, by just buying the camera with the wide angle lens, it's going to be just as bad as if you were to do it yourself, but probably not. They're probably doing a better job than you are the first time you've ever done it, right? So yeah, there's that. That sucks, dude. That sucks so bad. And then you've got a broken O4 Lite camera that you can't replace. You can't buy those camera replacements, right? Kevin, have you seen those camera replacements anywhere ever? I haven't.
I mean, man, hark back to the Vista and OG Air Unit days when it was like, oh yeah, you can get cameras. Like, sure, they're gonna be a little expensive, but you can get the cameras. And now it's like O3 got a lot harder, and O4 it's been. I don't think I've seen. There were some like knockoff camera modules for the O3 that would give you the warning.
Right.
But I haven't seen anything like that for O4.
That's another thing. By doing this Flywoo route and buying the full new camera, you are going to get that camera calibration warning forever. Luckily, it's whatever. It doesn't show up in the actual footage. It's just annoying. But that is another thing that kind of sucks about that. Is you're going to have to deal with that forever.
Render says that Flywoo has the O4 Lite replacement.
Just the camera. That's cool.
I'm going to look. I'll drop a link in chat if I can find it.
Tell me what it costs if you can find it.
Let's see. You get yourself a Flywoo Nano V1 camera.
What is that? Flywoo Nano V1.
It looks like it's a rebadged run cam Nano. 3.
Okay. You can FPV says, so you trust Flywoo to do it? I sure would over myself. Flywoo has the camera only, and then Capital C says, and the Flywoo O4 wide camera is out of stock. Awesome.
Oh, yep, sure enough, they have the O4 Lite camera module. Dropping it in chat, $30.
$30, that's not bad. That makes the mistake that you're inevitably going to make trying to do that mod a little bit less painful. Even though you'll pay $10+ in shipping and wait a month for it, probably. But I don't know, man. The O4 Lite to me, it's just a different camera, right? Like we in the photography world, we go ape shit buying different weird lenses that look different. This is that. It's a different camera. It's got a different look. I don't know. Like I said, the people that bitch and moan the loudest about it, a lot of times don't even have it. I've talked to a bunch of people that actually have it and have flown it, and they're like, yeah, it's less field of view, but you get used to it real quick, and then it's like whatever, done.
Render says it's got the same calibration error as the O3 unit, so this must be a Flywoo camera, not a DJI camera.
Yeah, and there's no way around that. Like anytime you ever switch the cameras on O4, O3, you're just going to have that camera calibration warning forever.
Welcome to the DJI walled garden. Isn't it great?
Yeah. Tanky says, if you smash the camera of the O4, it may be a nice replacement. Totally. I wonder if you can run if the O4 Lite and the O4 Pro cameras are interchangeable. I wonder if you could swap. I don't know why you would ever do that, but I just wonder. All right, let's look at some more bind and flies. We got like 20-ish more minutes. No, let's fly a little bit. We looked at a bunch of bind and flies. If there's another bind and fly that you guys want me to look at, drop it in the chat. But I said I was gonna fly, and we're gonna fly. I said I was gonna fly yesterday, and we didn't, so I'm not gonna do that again to you. This is the BetaFPV Champion Edition. They only made a couple of hundred of these. It's a CO3 camera. It's their Air 65 canopy, the one that breaks all the time. So eventually this will break. Luckily, I have a bunch of the V2s that I can replace it with. The Champion Edition motors are 702 30,000 kV, and they make gobs of power, as you'll see in a second. I'm not sure which Matrix AIO this is, but it's one of the ones that's kind of fragile, so this will die at some point, BT 2.0. And then these are the HQ ultralight biblades. And I'm going to use old beat-up batteries. These are my old, pretty whooped Lava 260s. I want to see if any of these are actually good enough to keep. I might be throwing some, if not... I'll definitely throw some of these away. I might throw all of them away now that I have a bunch of the Lava V2s. So yeah, biblades first, and then we're going to try this on the 1207x3. Triblades.
I'll start reading chat comments for you.
I appreciate it.
Nathan Wells says, Ciotti, did you bench comparison for me a while back comparing the regular O4 Lite FOV to other wider cameras? The vertical FOV on the O4 is good.
Bitch comparison? What?
Bench. Bench with an N in the middle.
Oh, bench. I didn't hear anything you said after bitch. I was like, bitch compare? What's a bitch compare? I'm intrigued. All right, hit me with it again. Did I bench compare?
Did you bench compare the O4 Lite versus the regular O4
Pro?
It just says O4. Wait, comparing the regular O4 Lite camera to other wider cameras. Okay, there we go.
I did not.
I think it was
Joshua and Mads Tech did such a good job with that I just didn't bother. Their videos show it perfectly. Well,
Render says I modded my O4 with no issues following this tutorial. But that being said, I've serviced camera lenses and sensors on my DSLRs before. LOL.
There you go. This thing is freaking the fuck out. I know that I flew this not too long ago. It is flying away. Let's hook it up to Betaflight and see what the hell's going on.
ATX is also doing something weird at like the top like tenth of the frame.
Oh, okay. Let me just try power cycling it then. I didn't notice that. Let's just try it quick. Did you try turning it off and on again? Let's see. Let's see if it was just being an idiot. Nope. Well, now it's still very unhappy. Let me do this. I think this has black box. Let me try to take a quick log, and that might show me where the where this weirdness is happening. Well, now it's fine though. Man, these BetaFPV boards do this. They get all grumpy and upset, and then they're like completely fine. It's super weird. So Brandon's Baked Beans has been cool enough to show me some shit in black box lately, and I'm now an expert. I am not an expert, but I know just enough to confuse you all and help you blow your shit up. So let's do that real quick. If there's even a log there. I'm not even sure if I flipped the right switch for the log, but there might be. The nice thing about this is that Brandon has been showing me things as if I'm like an 8-year-old, and so that means that I can kind of like show you guys some of this stuff, and maybe it'll make some sense. Probably not, but I mean, maybe. What you're saying is there's a chance, and that's what's important. So let's see real quick. You take a log. Okay, so you put it on a switch. Okay, you put black box on a switch. You don't want it to run all the time. You want to be able to turn it on, turn it off. All right. So I have it on this switch, on and off. So I take off with black box off. I establish a hover. I flip black box on. You do not hit anything. If you hit something, that log is ruined. You hover it. You cycle through the throttle. You do a right roll, a left roll, a front flip, a back flip, sharp left yaw, sharp right yaw. You cycle through the throttle again. You use as much of the throttle as you can. And then you do some prop wash turns if you can. You do as much of that as you can. I couldn't do much of that. I did one flip, a bunch of throttles, and I swept through the a bunch of throttle sweeps, and that was kind of all I could do right here. But that should be enough to see if there's an insane... and then you switch it off. You turn black box off. You stop logging before you land or hit anything. You want it to be in free air the entire time. Then you come into back... what's this program called? Betaflight. And this is not a great sign. Data flash free, 0 bytes. That probably means that the black box was already filled up from me accidentally using it. So I'm just going to erase it, and we're going to do that one more time. And I'm going to show you that quick little process. All right. This is mainly for finding problems right now. This is not really like getting the PIDs dialed in. What I'm doing right here, the rolls and the flips and shit and the prop wash turns, that's how you're going to dial your PIDs in. But if you've got a rig that's like flying away like this thing just was, this is, you know, get it to idle, get it to maybe fly away, and then turn black box off. And you should be able to see that massive oscillation that it had. Mind-blowing how long this takes. There it goes. All right, so we're going to disconnect real quick. I'm going to throw this battery back in it. I'm actually going to throw a fresh battery in it. No, I'm not. I'll be able to see the oscillation on this dead battery. When this battery voltage came down a little bit, the problem seemed to go away, which could totally be a PIDs are too high problem. It's back. So it's actually doing it right now. Boy, it comes and goes, which is really weird. So I'm just sweeping the throttle up and down, up and down, up and down. I'm going to try to do a little roll. I think I might have gotten it disarmed. Not disarmed, but I think I might have flipped the switch before it hit the chair leg there to turn black box off. So in theory, I have a little log on here now. Let's see. Check out my log, friends. I laid a log. It's a shit log. You won't like it. All right. Let's see if there's a shit log on here. All right. So you plug it in. It falls on the ground. You connect to Betaflight. You go down to black box. You hit the activate mass storage device mode. It's going to pop up on your desktop. You open it up. You don't want Betaflight all.bbl. You just want the highest numbered log. You copy it to your hard drive. You unlock it. It takes forever to copy. For funsies, that was pretty quick. If you're on a Mac, you do get info. You unlock the file. I don't know why they're locked. That's kind of weird. And you name it. Make sure you name it, because you're gonna get multiple logs. I'm gonna name this one Champ, and then you drag it into either the web version of Betaflight Black Box Explorer or the desktop version, which is out of date, but that's okay. Wolfox says, sounds like the dying goat. The dying goat is now the alive goat. Woo! I love it! God, that is one of my favorite sound bites of all time, is the goat scream. Come on now. Black Box Explorers take it as long as Betaflight takes to open. You now eject this because your quad is plugged in and it's getting hot. You eject that. You unplug the quad. That's the only way to get it out of mass storage mode. You plug the quad back in, and then you come into Betaflight real quick and you erase the black box log. Erase flash. Now that we're in here, we take that file, and I think it'll just drop it in there. All right, so now we've got our file. Mark Spatz has a workspace that you can download. He's got a video on it. UAV Tech. Get his workspace, and in his video he shows you how to install the workspace. You take in the workspace here, it always defaults to overview. You come down to noise plots. Click noise plots. It's going to change these on the right. Now you're going to go up here to view, hide, analyzer display. This button. You click that, and it's going to open up this little window here, and you're going to expand this. Click that to expand it. And now you need to click the two most important ones are gyro scaled roll and gyro scaled pitch. These are the two. When you click these, it changes what's happening out here. All right, so right now it's on pitch. Right now it's on roll. You'll see something change, hopefully. Hold on. Come on. Yep, okay. So there we go. So that's on pitch. This is on roll. This is very quiet. This is very clean here on the roll axis. We go over to the pitch axis. This is still pretty clean. I'm kind of surprised that it's having this many issues. Yaw is almost always clean. But this is not the waterfall. To get to the waterfall, which is where we learn a lot, it's up here. This disappears. It's not there. When does it? Yeah, when you mouse out of the screen, it disappears. But when you're here, you change it from frequency to frequency versus throttle. And this is what gets us the waterfall graph here, where we can usually learn the most. I think I'm still on yaw, so I'm going to click gyro scaled roll up here. This is not bad. Now I'm going to click gyro scaled pitch. So the problem is obviously on pitch, and this is our problem right here. And so there is a fancy way of seeing exactly where this is. I don't know what that fancy way is, though. But I can see that 100 is here and 200 is here. And all right, so if we all right, so this little guy here controls the amplitude. This is the default. If you double click this, it puts it to the default. That's important because if you're at the default and you still have a bunch of red like this, this is too noisy. When you're on the default, it should look the way that the roll looks. It should look like this. Oh, come on. Like this. Ah, there we go. It should not have any like really red bands in it. So on the roll axis, we're fine. The problem is on the pitch axis. If this was not a vertical line, if it was a diagonal line, let me see if I can get that to show up. I'm going to turn the amplitude up. Wow, we do not have much of a diagonal line. I really want to show you the diagonals, though. Oh, wait, I'm on pitch. Let me go back to roll. I'll be damned. Okay, so we don't have much of a diagonal. All that really means is that the RPM filtering is working really well. If you do have a diagonal band, that is with the motors. What that means is that the vibrations are ramping up with the motors. Okay, that's what the diagonal bands are. The vertical band like this is some sort of like a frame resonance. It's a resonance that happens at like, it looks like around 150 hertz, and then it goes away at 190 or so, it looks like here. So I'm just going to estimate this. It looks like it goes away at about 190, and it looks like it's strongest at, let's say, 150. And so 190, 150. In between is 170. So we're going to put our center point at 170, and then we're going to put our high at 190, and then it's going to sweep down to 150. You in Betaflight, you set your center and you set the high point, and then it uses that gap and it mirrors that gap onto the other side. Okay? So 170, 190 is what we're about to do. And let's see if that fixes the problem. We're still... Oh, I didn't need to disconnect. Connect. my knowledge of this is pretty limited right now, but watch this. We're going to put a gyro notch filter. Center frequency is going to be 170. The cutoff frequency is where we're going to do the 190. And then it's going to swing that down to 150 for us. Save it. This is a pretty old... What did it do that for? No, 190, you donkey. This is kind of... Why does it keep changing it to one? Oh, the cutoff frequency has to be below. I'm sorry. The cutoff frequency is below, and then it swings it up to the top. So this needs to be 150. We want it to go from 150 to 190. We've put the center at 170, the cutoff at 150. It's going to swing up to 190. This is kind of an old school way of filter tuning, but it works. This is how I got all of the jello out of the O4 Lite in the BetaFPV damped mount thing going. This is also how I got the walk snail 1.6 inch build to behave. And so it might be old school, but if it works, who gives a shit? Watch this. Ready? Freshly charged battery. It's going to be fine. Oh, I hope it's fine. Here we go. Good to go! There you go. I'm going to continue to learn black box stuff. I'm never going to go, like, all the way down the rabbit hole with it, but I'm going to learn a little bit more and spread the love to you beautiful bastards.
Right, continuing in chat comments. FPV says, so you trust Flywoo to do it? I'm sure I would over myself. Flywoo has the camera only. Yeah, Flywoo's got clean rooms to build stuff. I don't know about you, but I don't have the money for a clean room. LC says, and the Flywoo O4 wide camera is out of stock. Not surprising. Awesome. Hobby with regular stock problems.
Look at the shame on this dog's face right now. What is your deal? Is it the sweater, buddy? He ran away from me so hard when I went to put this sweater on him before. Look how sad he is. Oh my god. Look at that nose. Look at the shame. He's super embarrassed. He knows it's a camera. He knows there's people watching, and he's not happy about it. By the way, Brandon's Baked Beans does really high-level black box tuning for $1 a minute. It's an incredible deal. If you have an unruly build or just a build that you want to be absolutely locked in, hit him up. He's on my Discord all the time, and he's an awesome dude. Support that man. He's spent a lot of time and effort to learn black box. Let's say thanks by throwing him a couple bucks.
Thank you, FPV says, Ciotti, if you smashed the camera of the O4, it may be a nice replacement. Islander FPV says, at Ciotti, have you broken any of the Air V2 canopies yet?
No, I haven't used them yet, though. But they look to be a lot stronger, and I've heard that they are a ton stronger. Oh no, I don't have air mode to switch on this rig. Yeah, I've been told by people who crash a lot that they're plenty strong. So get you one. BetaFPV is doing a really good job at taking feedback and making intelligent changes with it as their VTX goes into full Insano rainbow reversed inverted colors mode. This is one of their older rigs, though. I wish I could fly through this, but the screen is a little bit off-center for me, which is making it really difficult.
And this looks like a music video from the 80s. Something you'd see on MTV back when they played music.
I slapped down on the desk and, like, shit went flying everywhere. I wonder what I hit. It scared the shit out of the dog, though. I'm sorry, little buddy boy.
Ying Yang says, Ciotti, no one ever talks about how the O4 Lite has 0 barrel distortion, which us photo video people go nuts over.
I talk about that all the time. That's like the one main thing that... Really? They went to sleep and just left the TV on.
Yeah, brother, you're in the right place for camera stuff.
For real. I love the way the O4 Lite looks from like a cinematic perspective. What's funny is it's not quite good enough quality, but like when I chase the fucking RC drift cars around, it looks absolutely unbelievably good. And you know, like that's what I'm having the most fun doing lately. So perfect. We're gonna switch props real quick. Get off these biblades.
Nathan Wells says, FPV, did you do a bench comparison live on stream? I'm at work and didn't check my spelling. Oh, he's talking about the O4 comparison. I think we talked about that already.
Right. Yeah, I haven't done that. And like I said, I won't. Joshua and Ian from Mads Tech had got you covered on that. They did a great job with it.
Sporty FPV says, how important is a capacitor on 2S? I finished my Caillou Mini and couldn't fit one in.
It depends on the ESC. If you already have the build done and it flies okay, you're pretty much good. I mean, you could argue that like it might blow up someday earlier not having a capacitor, but like look, they put a bunch of capacitors on the ESCs, and so like the more modern the ESC, the more chances that it doesn't really need it. If at all. It might not need it at all. The thing about capacitors is it never hurts to put one on. Like, they don't weigh anything. If you can fit one in, put one in there. If you can't, just let her rip, and you'll probably be fine. And if it blows up, it blows up. They blow up for 1,000 other reasons, right? Like, you know, the people are like, I blew up because it didn't have a capacitor. Like, are you sure? Like, how do you know that? Blah, 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 blah. Like, no, it blew up because you rammed it into a brick wall at 80 miles an hour. Like, so yeah, if you can fit one, put one in there. If you can't be bothered or you can't fit one, like, you'll probably be all right, especially if you're on newer electronics, namely the ESC. Switching over to GemFan 1207s. I forgot to check the tune to see how aggressive the tune was on this, but we'll see. Whatever.
It'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
Just send it, Ciotti. Just send it.
I'm glad there's someone else to say it, because I won't say it on the stream.
just rip a pack. Come on, man.
Rip a pack. A pack of what? A pack of cigarettes? I'm not ripping cigarettes. Pack. I refuse to call batteries packs, if you guys haven't noticed by now. I've never gone crazy and screamed and yelled about that. Because a lot of people call batteries packs, and like I'm okay like offending a few people, but I don't want to offend like everyone. But you'll never catch me calling a battery a pack. Pack. All right, GemFan 1207s.
Veritas Weasel says, Ciotti, hey bud, have there been any issues with getting things from China? Are the companies having stock issues? Veritas Weasel, have you had your head in the sand for the last 12 months?
I haven't seen him in a minute, so he very well may have.
Have you been living in a bunker?
Yeah, it's true. There are so many things that we're having issues with. Yeah, it's rough right now, dude. It's real rough, but you know, not a thing we can do about it. We signed up for this for 4 years, so we got 3 more to go, unfortunately. So on this build, these GemFan 1207s are fine. And they fly great. I did pay more attention when I was putting them on, so maybe I just bent those up the other night. Oh, it went through. Wow. Yeah, these are great. These 1207s fly awesome. They flew awesome yesterday, but they were having that weird balance issue.
Render says, I see my PIDSUM go way past 400/500 in peaks. Should I just set the PIDSUM limit to 1,000? I've seen it peak up to 1,200. Peak.
He's you talking about in black box?
He says PIDSUM, which I assume is the command line PIDSUM dealie that used to always set it on whoops, and I haven't been in a while, but also I just kind of fly them.
The only PIDSUM I know of is in the CLI. You can set the stock PIDSUM is like 40 and 50, and then you can move it up. And we used to have really good luck moving it up, but then like we stopped doing that, and Betaflight got better, and then like everybody kind of forgot about it. And like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was talking about it for some strange reason. But like in the CLI, you can only move the PIDSUM up to 100 max. So what PIDSUM is it's the amount of ESC power that the PID loop is allowed to access, basically. And so stock, it's 40 on yaw, 50 on pitch and roll. I think what he's talking about is that there's a way to look at PIDSUM in a black box log to see, and so maybe that's where those other numbers are coming from. Did I hear 1,200?
I think it's a power of 10. So he's got 400/500, which would map to 40/50. And I want to say that it is like there's like a multiplier or divisor of 10 in there somewhere because of the way that the command line stuff works.
It's been so long since I looked at PIDSUM. I totally forgot about that. Yeah, when you set it to 100, you set it to 1,000. You shouldn't need PIDSUM. I mean, if you want to set them to 100 and see if the rig flies better, go right ahead. The general consensus is that Betaflight set it to 40 and 50 for safety reasons, i.e. you arm it and it starts chopping your finger up, and it can only get like 50% power to chop your finger up instead of off. But, you know, don't arm it in your hand and you'll be fine. But, like, I've talked to Brandon's Baked Beans a bunch about PIDSUM, and I know that you can see it in the logs, because he said to me that usually the PID loop doesn't ask for more than, like, 50%. Like, it's very rare. Like, yeah, sure, you can move it up to 100%, but the PID loop almost never asks for that much power. So, yeah, moving it up might not do anything. I keep forgetting that all the lights are off up here, except for the TV.
I mean,
one thing that takes all the energy.
Ciotti, do you remember if PIDSUM is a global, or is it in the PID profiles? Because if it's in PID profiles, you could set it and copy the PID profile to a second profile, set it in one, and switch between them and see which one behaves better.
I would assume that it's global, because
I think it's global.
I would think they would have to have it in the CLI broken out. I wouldn't think that, like...
Oh yeah, that's right. You have to set the profile, and you have to like go into the profile. Yeah, so it's a global setting. So never mind about that.
Yeah, you shouldn't eat it. I've not changed. Most of these tiny whoops are on the stock PIDSUM. I have not changed it on a tiny whoop in a long time. I had like one 2G4 where it was maxed out, and I backed it off, and it made no difference whatsoever. So more than likely what Brandon says is true, in that like the PID loop just never really needs to get at 100% of the motor power.
There's a super chat for when you land.
Sick. The PID loop operates so fast that it really shouldn't need that 100%. I'm assuming is why it doesn't need to go up higher. Jimmy the Cow with a $10 super chat. He says, "Worth watching you blanket, bro. Thanks for blanking the blanks for us." No, I can say ripping. Thanks for ripping the blanks for us. You're certainly welcome. These GemFan 1207s are great. They're really similar. They feel very similar to the... this is the first real test of these propellers that we've had, because they weren't vibing with the Ultimate Freestyle Tiny Whoop the other night. You know what it might be? That Tiny Whoop might be too heavy with too powerful motors. No, these motors are super powerful. Let me weigh these. Let me weigh these 1207s versus the HQ ultralights. We're gonna weigh 4 of them here. They are 4 of them are apparently infinitely light. No, there it goes. 4 of them are 0.7, but it was bouncing back and forth between 0.6 and 0.7, so we're gonna say 0.65. And then 4 of the HQ ultralight 1.2 by 0.9 by 3s are 0.6. Okay, so they're either the same or ever so slightly heavier than the GemFan ultralights. I was really hoping that they would be more durable, and they might be, but I'm going to need to put way more battery. What I can say is that the blades bending upwards or downwards, they're definitely not more durable than the HQ ultralights, but like, who cares about that? As long as they don't break at the hub, I'm happy. So yeah, I'm gonna fly the shit out of these. It's after 12. Kevin, can we speed run through the rest of the things? Things, great.
Yep. Ciotti, glad to see you digging around in Black Box Explorer, says Hockey Rounds.
Oh, thank you. I'm very reluctantly doing it, but I just need to.
Jimmy the Cow says, Ciotti, what OSD font do you use?
This is a 300 mAh battery now, by the way. I use the regular one, just the standard one. It's like classic Betaflight to me. God damn it. Yeah, I used Clarity for a while because I thought it was more readable. But then, oh, Teddy, I wanted to go into that cube. But then I realized that I barely ever look at it anyway, and so I might as well just make it the cool one. Pretty sure it's the regular one.
Angela the Terrible quotes you, says, if you can fit one in, put one in there. That's what she said.
That's a great quote. What are you saying? It's the best of the quotes.
You can FPV says, Ciotti, rip some packs.
Done. I'm in. I'm in. Oh, come on with the full rainbow. Betaflight. Come on.
Let's see. Angela says, Ciotti, what would you recommend for a beginner? A rabbit or a Hitachi magic wand?
Oh my god. Next.
Jimmy the Cow says,
how the hell would I know?
What if you say it with a Boston accent? A pack.
Oh god. I'm not even gonna try. It's been way too long since I've watched The Wire to even attempt a Boston accent.
Yafu says, how do I remove completely destroyed screw? Scrolled. How do I remove completely destroyed screw hex holes? I can free spin the driver in them.
Cut a slot in it and then use a flathead is one of the most common ways to fix a stripped button head. I guess you could even fix some socket head stuff. That's gonna be tough though. Holy shit, that's gonna be tough. Maybe before you do that, cutting a slot into stuff potentially is like super destructive, especially if you cut too deep and break the entire head of the screw off. I would try the best set of like needle nose pliers with knurled, not smooth on the inside, knurled on the inside that you've got. That's tough. Ooh! Try a Torx driver. Sometimes Torx drivers will be able to grab when a hex won't. Or maybe this is your excuse to get a set of MIP drivers, because they do legitimately fit tighter. And so if you have another driver, try another driver, because that driver might be rounded out a little bit. That's all I can think of.
There are So I have an electric scooter. On my scooter, I had from the manufacturer, they had put too much of the heat set or heat remove thread locker, and so it stripped the bolt head out. So I had to buy, because it was like a M8 or an M12 bolt. I had to buy the thing that you use to back those out.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, for big bolts, there's extractors that work sometimes.
You can get them for like M3. I don't know about M2, but I think you can get them for M3.
Yeah, and like all the extractor really is a drill bit, and then a fancy little jib jab, and like that might be where you need to go in the end, which is just to use a drill bit to drill it all the way out. Boy, does that suck though, because it just kills all the threads and ugh.
The ones that I got they're like they're like a bit that you hammer in, and they have reverse threads on them. So then you just run the wrench backwards.
Okay. Yeah.
They were slick, but don't get the cheap ones because those will round out in the top of the head.
Yeah, extractor set. The cheap extractor sets will do more damage than good a lot of times.
And now YouTube is doing a thing to me. Isn't that great? Let's see.
It's scrolling about in the chat.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Render says this is on a 5-inch. To be fair, what are you talking about? I rip packs all day. You can have FPV says I've been absolutely slamming the shit out of the build I did with these 40,000 702s with a 1.5 mil shafts, and they still sound brand new. Super happy with them. Just need prop options.
You say he needs prop options
For the 1.5 mil 0702s.
Oh, right. Yeah, the one thing that we don't have.
I really want everybody to just make their shafts. Just add the extra, tenth of a gram for all four, and leave the shafts above the bell unshaved.
Yep.
At the 1.5. Higher dimension shafts.
I don't know what's happening, but I haven't crashed.
There it is.
Never mind.
All you got to do is say it. Render tagged me and said, "You need some coffee, bro." I don't drink coffee, but and I can't drink caffeine after 5 p.m. Otherwise, I'll be up all. But my bedtime is usually midnight. But I stay up for this because it's fun. There is a super chat. Another super chat just came in.
Ooh, shit. All right, hold on.
Making the money.
Where is it? G Wolfman with a $20 super chat. Dude, thank you. Super generous. Thanks for your insane knowledge. Learned lots tonight. Watching you fly is inspiring. Thank you, man. I'm flying a little bit different right now. I'm putting the nose down and just absolutely hammering ball sacks. 2 reasons. A, this old school Air65 canopy is 25 degrees of up tilt. You can tell because there's no props in view on the bottom here, right? Whenever there's no props in view, you got some serious up tilt. And so like when you have that much up tilt, it just kind of like makes you fly faster. But I also consciously just started flying faster because I don't do that enough. It is fun, and I want to batter the shit out of these propellers to see if they survive. Also, this is on a Air65 V2 frame, which I haven't broken yet, and so I figured, all the reasons lining up to just absolutely rail around this room. The props seem to be okay, but here's how you're going to test them. Here's how you test your propellers and your motors to see if they're still balanced. You can do this in the motors tab of Betaflight, but it's even easier to do it in turtle mode. So you flip into turtle mode, you arm it, you hold it, and you gently spin each motor up. Just a little bit. No need to spin it up all the way. and then the next one, and then the next one, and the last one. And you compare the amount of vibrations that you're feeling through your fingers. So in this case, motor 1 is okay. Motor 2 is shaking pretty good. Motor 4 is smooth. Motor 3 is worse than 1 and 4, but not as bad as 2. So motor 2, either the propeller or the motor shaft, either the propeller is bent up or the motor shaft is bent up. You can unplug your battery, disarm on the transmitter, and now you're going to look at the one that's the worst, and you're going to look at the tip of the propeller, and you're going to hold it in a way that the tip of the propeller, boy, I lose all my light when I come up that far. You're going to hold it to your eye. This is really hard to do with the camera. It's way easier to do with your eye. But if you see the tip of the propeller, see how it's just barely lined up with the bottom of the duct? And then now you bring the next prop across. And then you bring the last one across. And you gotta like do it with your hands on a surface and like get comfortable, because if you move your face or if you move the quad, that little spot on the duct where the tip of the propeller is perfectly lined up, if you move your head, that'll change a little bit. So you got to kind of get comfortable, and you got to like hold the quad in the exact right orientation. Like put it down, just put the quad down on the desk, and then just like use your arms to kind of secure yourself. And now I'm going to do that right now. And so the tip of the propeller is perfectly lined up on the bottom of the duct. The next one, it's perfectly lined up. The last one, it's pretty lined up. So it's probably the motor shaft that's starting to get banged up on this motor. I probably have 100 batteries through this, so that's not super surprising. But it doesn't seem to be the propellers. There were some pretty decent crashes there, and these propellers held up fine. So it looks like maybe these propellers are kind of weak when you're putting them on or when you're removing them, but as long as you get them on cleanly and don't bend the blades up, it looks like they might be kind of durable. But this is not, this handful of batteries that I just flew is not nearly enough. When I get this like 100 batteries in, then we'll talk. But so far, they seem pretty damn good, which is great. And none of them blew up yet, which is massive. So, yeah, 1207 seemed to be all right. I don't know why I was having problems with them the other night.
Let's see.
Where are we at in chat?
Shelby Vole, the Wizard
Hey!
of Wings, shows up in
What's up,
chat. He
Shelby?
says, good evening, Ciotti. It's time for me to buy a micro. Why do I hear my Sumner from the drone hangar?
He is the voice of God Monday nights.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Message me, Shelby. I'll hook you up, brother.
Yafu says, got them out, had to Dremel the shit out of them.
There you go.
SPV says, Ciotti, you're a bad partner if you don't know which works better on them. I believe that's referring to the Rabbit versus Hitachi comment.
Oh, sure. Yeah, they're not needed. Frank Nicholas dropping an Amazon link.
That's to the M2 screw extractor.
Oh, look at those. Those look nice.
Engineer stuff
I
is
see what they
good
did.
too.
I see what they did. They put that, that's slick. Man, it's been a long time since I've stripped a small screw out, but these would come in handy. So $18 ain't bad either. Damn, very cool. I have really good luck with these from, these are made by Tecton, I think. I think I wore off the brand name. I'm pretty sure these are made by Tecton, and I did get them from Amazon, but they're just like a decent set of knurled needle nose pliers. And these have been really good. Yeah, Tecton, Tekton. And it's the, I don't know. You'll find them. They look like this. These have been really nice. I've had a bunch of needle nose pliers over the years, and a lot of times they get a little bit like wiggly and loose. These have been really tight. I like this design in here. I bought them because they looked more sturdy, and they have been. So, yeah. There you go.
Sporty FPV says T-Motor and its FPV doing a new 3.5-inch motor with 3mm shaft. Jim Fan is making new props for that.
Oh wait, 3.5-inch motor with a 3. Oh, look at T-Motor hooking us up. So they've got a 4mm shaft, big boy 5-inch motor. There have been other 3mm shaft micro motors. They're pretty rare, but the more we get, the better. So that's pretty cool. Do you happen to know what size the motor is? Everything for the new 3.5-inch Era frame from its FPV. All right, this is going to be the last comment of the live stream. Anything else to add, Kevin? Words of wisdom? Curse words that just make you laugh?
Storage charger batteries. I know you get home from the field and you're tired and you just want to go take a nap. Storage charger batteries, treat them well, and they will not fail you and crash your quad into a lake.
Storage charging is annoying, but if you buy a couple of these things from ViFly, it becomes a lot less annoying. You don't have to turn your charger back on. You don't have to plug them into the bounce thing. You just take these, you plug it into the XT30 or XT60. They make them in both variations, and they handle the rest. These things are absolute gold. Put a set in your flight bag in case you go on vacation and you won't have a way of discharging if you bring your batteries charged. These things are awesome. They're from ViFly. They're just itty-bitty little dischargers. I don't even know what they're called, but you'll find them. ViFly only makes like 10 things. Yeah, love these. Throw them onto the XT30 or XT60 and walk away. They detect the voltage. They set themselves to the proper discharge amount, and they stop when they're done. Totally dummy-proof. Plug them in. Good to go. That's a great tip.
There you go.
Storage charger, but storage to keep your batteries at storage charge. It makes a huge difference. I did that test with the year-old Tiny batteries that I'd cycled hundreds and hundreds of times, but I only ever fly them down to 3.5, and then the voltage bounces back to 3.7, 3.75, 3.8, and they were like fine. And so if you don't abuse your batteries and you keep them at storage, they will last a long, 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 long time. Good call, brother.
I have 2-year-old packs that I storage charge religiously, and they still go like, well, not the day that I broke them out, but, a couple trips after.
Sure. Awesome. Kevin, thank you, man. I appreciate it very much.
You are welcome.
Kevin will be back next Monday. I'll be back Wednesday. I don't know what we'll do. Maybe we'll actually do this X14 build. I was planning on tearing this place apart to try to find those motors today, but instead I listed some new stuff on the Etsy store. And I'm going to do that again tomorrow and maybe lose my mind and try to find these Happy Model 1102 motors. We'll see. So yeah, Whoop Wednesday will be fun. I don't know what it'll be, but tune back in to try to find out. CiottiFPV.com to support me. Subscribe, like, do whatever you want. Love you, bye. I'm not ready. I'm never ready. Here's the rest of me railing around before the live stream. Here's what DVR looks like through the HDZero goggles on a rapid fire versus the jank little VTX that you guys usually watch me fly from. Also, beginning of the stream, you can see that as well. Now I'm ready. See you guys Wednesday. Why did that happen? Hold on. What was
Technical
that about?
difficulties at midnight 30. Come on now.
Yeah, 12:30. Hold on. We're live again, by the way, Kevin. Don't say all those horrible things about everybody in the chat that you normally do.
I have to bite my tongue. It's bleeding over here.
The program that I use to play videos, Inna, has just absolutely shit the bed. What? Hold on. Let's force quit it. And nope. Application Inna cannot be opened. Is it a memory card issue? What the hell is going on here? Maybe we're not going to have any video at the end of the live stream. Hold on. Inna, launch. Okay, it's fine. I think this is a memory card issue. I think it might have gotten bumped. No, what? DJI. Yeah, there. What? Hold on. Let me pull the memory card out. Put it back in. This will fix the problem. Surely this will fix the problem. Log, movies, HDZero 000. Got it. We're good. All right, friends. I'll see you Wednesday. I don't know where I was in this flight, but here you go. Here's me flying the Champion edition. And bye!
Yeah. Out in the yard where the grass grows wild, CiottiFPV's goggles locked, grinning like a child. Teddy spaghetti's fur flies and jet wash dreams, yeah. Chasing small whoops like a dog possessed fiend. Eyes on a neon blur, hard in the chase. Big fuzz and prop spin all tangled in place, yeah. Four-legged rebel with a rotor stir tail in the circus of the sky. They never fail. CiottiFPV, Teddy spaghetti, dynamic duo kings, barking at the breeze, throttling at top speed, thing, zooming through hoops, flipping in style. That schnauzer's got throttle and a 2D smile. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sighties on sticks, Teddy's on paws. Side by side, legends breaking all the laws. Through the kitchen, over couch scale terrain. Backyard mayhem in their flight domain. No ground too sacred, no loop too tight. Fuzz, fuel, fury ignites the night. When pilot and pup lock eyes on the prize, every whoop they conquer is a fresh cut surprise. Yeah, yo, Saudi behind the sticks, Teddy's leading the pack. Prop guard missiles unleashed, never looking back. No leash, no map, just freestyle mic. They on the dog drone streets every day and night. Said whoops, hitting low, gotta nail the dive, Teddy. Push throttle up, feel the beast come alive. I see the neon arc, got the sticks locked in, Teddy. Yeah, let's rip this loop, ride the roar of the wind, Teddy. Yep, yeah. CiottiFPV, Teddy spaghetti, coming at duo kings, barking at the breeze, throttling at top speed, zooming through hoops, flipping in style. That schnauzer's got throttle and a 2D smile. Teddy spaghetti, barking at the breeze, throttling at top speed, things, zooming through hoops, flipping in style. That schnauzer's got throttle and a 2D smile. Yeah, when you hear that bar cut the rotor hum, you know Ciotti and Teddy's mission's just begun. FPV's fur-faced legends, legends singing loud. Yeah, Teddy spaghetti and CiottiFPV always proud.